I'll tell you if you have identified a few or more of these things on the list. It's a bad house. You can spot a bad house in just under 60 seconds. Sibo here, your real estate agent for North Surrey. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my checklist, my process of what I'm looking for when I'm previewing homes with my clients to help identify a bad house. I get questions all the time from first-time home buyers. What exactly am I looking for when I'm looking at a home? Well, I'm going to tell you. That's what this video is all about. So if you are in the process of buying a home or you are thinking about buying a home and you need these questions answered, stick around. I'm going to show you what to look for. Now, let's get into it. Okay, bear with me here. Then you get to visualize this. As we pull up to a home, the first thing I'm looking at is I'm checking out the neighborhood. I'm checking out the location. I'm checking out the street. How is parking? And what about the driveway? Is the driveway large enough to fit several cars? Many of my clients love to entertain, right? They're going to have family over for holidays and barbecues and all those things. We want to make sure that there are going to be plenty of parking. What I'm also looking at, is it close to the major hub? Is the property close to any highways? Does the property back onto any shopping center? Does it back up to any office building, a warehouse, etc.? Those are the things I'm looking for as well. I'm also looking at the neighbors too. I'm looking at their yards and their landscaping. What's going on. If I see that the neighbor's yard isn't well maintained, that could potentially be an issue that you don't want to deal with down the road. Arguing with your neighbor to get them to cut their grass and clean up their yard is a nightmare. Next, we're going to be looking at the roof. As I approach to the home, I always look up at the roof. I'm looking to see if there's moss, if there's any buckling in the roof, if there's any missing shingles, are there trees branches touching the roof, how close are the trees to the home. That's another big thing. Here in North Surrey, there are lots of trees. There could be many trees really close to a house. That's another thing I'm looking at because that's a big ticket item. It's very expensive to take trees down. Plus, you often need a reason to explain to the city hall why you want to take the tree down. Next, as I walk around the perimeter of the house, we're looking at the exterior foundation and I'm looking for cracks, right? You have heard me talk about foundation cracks before. We're looking for any step cracks or horizontal cracks or vertical cracks. Now, vertical cracks, they're not as serious as long as they are smaller than 1/8 of an inch. If they're wider than 1/4 of an inch, then you got a problem. Even if those cracks are patched up, I'm making a mental note of that because that tells me it could have been potential issues that before and the seller had addressed it, but they patched it up. I want to know what happened there. Now, as we are going through the yard, and this is really only if say it had rained heavily prior to the showing. If I find that there is a lot of pooling of water in like an area of a yard, or if it's pooling like in an area close to the house, that could be a sign of drainage issue. So that's what I'm looking for as well. But I mean, that's only easy to observe if it had rained heavily prior to us seeing the home. If the home has a pool, I'm going to be looking at the coping. I'm looking at the decking. Is there any cracks? I'm looking at liner of the pool. And you can tell when the liner is older on the pool. If I see that liner is on the older side, that's a big ticket item. That's going to be a super expensive. I'm going to observe the pool equipment. How is that looking? Is that on the older side? That could be something that needs to be replaced. Now we're done with outside. Let's enter the home. We enter the home through the front door. What's the first thing I always look at? My colleagues always laugh at me, but I'm sorry. I look at the floors. I will walk in, look at the entryway, and first thing, what do the floors look like? Floors can be very expensive when you have to replace them. So first thing I'm looking at are the hardwood floors. If there's any damage, so if you see the black stains, any water damage, or if there's any softening or even like holes in the wood, that's going to need to be replaced. Next, let's talk about the tile floors. I'm talking, marble, ceramic tiles. If there are cracks, many cracks or broken tiles, this is going to be a big expensive item. Several years ago, I'll never forget about this one. I took clients to go look at a home and they had a ceramic tile from the front door down to a long hallway leading to the kitchen. And the family room is all the same tile. There were so many broken tiles from the front door into the kitchen. That would have been the first thing I would have replaced if I was buying the house. And I told my clients, it's one thing if it was hardwood, hardwood you can probably replace like a section where you can just simply refurbish the hardwood floor. When you're dealing with tile that's broken and you want to take that up, speak speaking from experience, because I did it in my own house, it's very expensive to remove. So that's why I look at floors as soon as I walk into a house. From there, I'm going to be looking at the walls. I'm looking at the ceiling. I'm looking for water stains. I'm looking to see if there's any patch jobs in the ceiling. I'm also looking for cracks in the ceiling and on the walls. Now again, minor cracks are normal from settling, and people freak out sometimes when they see cracks in the wall and they think, oh my god, that's a structural problem. Not so fast. It could just be simply settling. But we're going to be looking for any bigger cracks on the walls and in the ceiling. Next, we're looking at the windows. We're going to see if there are single pane or double pane windows. If they're older windows, they are hard to open and close. That's your sign right there. This isn't a good house because you are going to have to replace the windows. It's very expensive to replace windows. If you haven't done that, I can tell you it's a lot of money. If a home has a fireplace, we're going to observe to see if it is gas fireplace or wood burning fireplace. If it's wood burning, you should be able to tell whether or not the fireplace has been used. If it's actively being used, if it's not, that's your sign. If you're making an offer on a house and you're going to be purchasing it, you're definitely going to want to have a chimney inspection done. My experience, when people do not use their fireplace for years, moisture does settle inside the chimney and it impacts the liner and can damage the liner, and then you need to replace a new one. Now going back to outside. Oh, I did forget to mention there was one other thing that we look at on the outside too. I'm looking at the chimney to see if there's any missing mortar, if there's any missing bricks, if the chimney leaning. There are important things we need to look at. That's a big problem right there, especially a leaning chimney. Okay, another big thing we're going to look at is the electrical panel. We want to know what is the amperage, what's the condition, is it older, does it need to be upgraded? You can tell pretty easily if an electrical panel needs to be upgraded. Is it overloaded? I have seen electric panels where there is like tons of stuffs, like a wiring coming out of it. Believe me, I have seen houses like this where I'm like, what in the heck are they running into the electric panel? That's a big red flag too. Now let's talk about the furnace, the AC and the water heater. The furnace, we're going to see the condition it's in. Now, it could be on the older side, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. As long as the furnace has been maintained, furnaces can usually last a fairly long time. But what we're looking for is the corrosions. Is there any corrosions on the valves to the furnace? Is there any corrosion on the pipes leading into the furnace? Is it looking rusted or kind of gross and definitely not maintained? This is super important. That's a sign of like hardly any maintenance or services done to that furnace. Water heater. This is another one. The first thing I look for is the date that a water heater was installed. If it was installed within the last 10 to 12 years, then we're in good shape. Water heaters only last about 10 to 12 years, by the way. So if it's a water heater that's already by the end of the life, I can guarantee you that you're going to replace your water heater once you buy that house, and you're looking at a few $1,000s. Now let's talk about the central air. The air handlers for the central air are typically located in the attic. But how do you know if an AC on the older side? I check the condition of the condensers that are on the outside of the house. If it's rusted, they're looking really weathered, that's a sign it's a much older unit, and that's something you're going to need to replace in a few years, if not sooner. As I'm going through the rest of the house, I'm also looking to see if there's any work done, any cosmetic work done. You know where I'm going with it. Sometimes homeowners like to DIY. They like to repair or replace things themselves, which is totally fine. I'm in support of that. But if the workmanship looks shady and sloppy, the tile is uneven, the vanity is not fully attached to the wall, things like that, that's a problem. So there is something you are going to have to take on yourself and like regrout and that bathroom and redo it by yourself. I'm also going to be looking at underneath the sinks in the bathrooms and in the kitchen. We want to see if there's any leaks, if there's any mold. Speaking about mold, if a home has a basement, especially if it's an unfinished basement, we're going to be looking for moisture. This is super important. If there is a dehumidifier or multiple dehumidifiers in the basement, what does that tell you? There's a moisture down there. I'm not saying that the basement definitely took on water. I mean, there are some basement where, yeah, it does get musty, especially in the humid months. I understand that. But if a dehumidifier are running or there are multiple ones, it's possibility there could have been water in there. And another way we can look for water is if there are lines on the wall, say like, 6 inches, even less, a few inches up, like a foot or higher. If you see a line along the wall, that tells you right there, and there was water in that basement at one time. Now, this only applies to unfinished basement. Now, if you have a finished basement and the walls have been sheetrocketed, it's going to be hard to tell if there was moisture there. So again, that really applies to those unfinished basement. It's easier to spot any water damage. And let's get back to the whole foundation cracks that we saw on the exterior. We're going to be looking for cracks again in the basement. Are there any cracks such as step cracks, horizontal or vertical cracks? If there are, that's a sign the soil is pushing against the foundation. The soil shifting and it's causing problem with the structure. Now, keep in mind, you can be looking for these things, but your real estate agent really should be looking at those as well. And the really good agent will know what to look for in those things. And if you need to be connected with a real estate agent in your area, if you are thinking about buying a home in your market, you can reach out to me and I'll get back to you with an agent in your market. Now, keep in mind, this does not give you the permission to waive your home inspection, all right? You go through the list and you have identified some of these things. You didn't identify any of those things and you figure, okay, you know what? I'm going to make my offer really strong. I'm just waive the inspection because I look at it, all these stuffs. No, you still need to hire a home inspector and do a home inspection, okay? There, I said it. I'm always going to tell you that. Don't waive your home inspection now. Let's talk about those seller's disclosure. Now, what a lot of people will do, they want to review the seller's disclosure because the seller is supposed to give honest information about the home, whether there are any repairs, any damage, what have you. If the home did take on water, you are supposed to be putting all of that information into seller's disclosure. Newsflash, seller's disclosure are not 100% accurate. I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but not every seller is going to be honest. So do not rely on the seller's disclosure 100%. They're good references. So now myself, before I go look at a home, if the seller's disclosure is available, I will look at it prior to looking at the home to see if there's any glaring on the seller's disclosure that we need to be looking at when we are previewing the home. But again, do not rely on it 100%. If any of these items coming up or anything comes up when you are previewing the home, it's not indicated that on the seller's disclosure. You really should have your real estate agent go back to the listing agent and ask for questions about that you have observed now. Keep in mind, knowing those signs doesn't mean you should waive your home inspection. Never waive your home inspection. I will always tell you this. It's the best couple of $100s or even more you can ever spend to secure your peace of mind and protect your future equity. And don't rely 100% on the seller's disclosure. They are not always complete or fully accurate. If you spot issues, a professional buyer's agent will go back to the listing agent, ask the hard questions, and renegotiate the price or repairs on your behalf. Ultimately, buying a home isn't about finding a flawless property. It's about avoiding a money pit and finding a place where you can build your future, stop paying rent, and enjoy true stability. If you want to make sure you don't make any of these common mistakes, I got 3 resources to help you out right now. Number 1, subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post weekly videos sharing the real and filtered truth about North Surrey real estate market, so you can navigate this journey with absolutely confidence. Number 2, download my free buyer's guide designed especially for first-time home buyers in North Surrey. This guide breaks down the entire purchasing process step by step, so you don't overpay or miss critical details. The download link is also in the description below. Number 3, sign up for a one-on-one home buying strategy consultation. For a limited time, I'm offering a free personalized consultation where we can sit down, review your goals, and map up a safe, clear strategy to find your dream home. Spots are limited, so click the link in the description to secure your second section today. Thank you so much for watching and getting your weekly dose of real estate reality. My name is Sibo, your North Surrey real estate partner, and I will see you in the next video.